There's no power in the stove, can't cook, and look in my microwave, nothing.
In February, 62-year-old Manuel Pauly and his family leased this 2-bedroom basement apartment in Mississauga, which they found on Kijiji. But in March, he says he didn't have enough cash to pay the $1,600 a month rent.
I called the owner of the house, the landlord. I'm going to pay partially payments, and they don't agree. They said, you have to go, you have to leave.
He says the landlords issued an eviction notice for April 1st. He tells us that the next day the landlords began cutting off power to the apartment.
It's because I don't pay for not even a month. And you have to cut my wire services.
Only the lights in the kids' bedroom remain on, so Pauly is using an extension cord to power the kitchen appliances. He also claims that the landlord started harassing them, entering their apartment without notice, and even throwing out some of his property. But when he tried to file a formal complaint with the Provincial Rental Housing Enforcement Unit, he learned something unexpected about the apartment.
Enforcement unit saying it's illegal to leave this residence.
The apartment is not registered with the city of Mississauga. Tenant lawyer Dania Majid says many renters don't know that they should check if their unit is legal. But if it isn't, that doesn't mean hope is lost.
Is there any recourse for them?
Yes, absolutely. The Residential Tenancies Act still applies to illegal units. So they can file a tenant application to complain about any issues with the landlord.
Majid says even if rent is owed, a landlord can't cut off vital services or harass the tenant. CityNews contacted the landlords several times in the last day, finally managing to reach one by phone this afternoon. He told us to speak to his lawyer.
I'm just hoping, we can get some clarification from you about what's happening, just so that we have your side of the story.
Well, you talked to my lawyer. I said I don't have a tenant. I have a squatter there.
Okay.
So you can figure it out from there. Okay?
And you don't want to
All
say,
right.
did you cut off the power? Okay, thank you.
His lawyer tells CityNews that the landlord is also struggling financially and is currently working out of town. He says the power issue is due to overloaded breakers and that electricians have been sent to deal with it. Any other claims, his lawyer says, can be filed with the Landlord-Tenant Board. The city of Mississauga confirms bylaw staff are investigating to determine if the disconnected services are in violation of property standards. They advise potential tenants to ask the landlord whether a unit like a basement apartment is registered before signing a lease.
The process for registering an apartment involves inspections, to make sure that there's, safety levers that are in place, and, fire inspection standards and that sort of thing. So it's also an education piece for the homeowner.
If you still have concerns about whether it's legal, you can call the city at 311. But Majid says the types of conflicts that the Pauly family say they're facing point to a larger problem in Ontario.
Ultimately, we have an affordable housing crisis in Ontario. There are next to no, really affordable units for tenants. So tenants are desperate. They don't have the luxury of choice of picking a unit that checks off all their boxes.
Manuel wants out of the lease and has enlisted the help of his community legal clinic, but it could be months before there is a resolution for both sides. In Mississauga, Natividad, City News.